see something strange. Come with us.
This is literally the Halloween film and also the Christmas film that everyone loves. And I haven't seen it until now. Well, let's just say I've seen little tidbits of it, but I never saw it all the way through in its entirety. And I must say that it is a beautiful looking film with awesome musical songs in it around every corner of it. But it's so weird to me.
But that's what makes it great. It is a truly bizarre movie. It feels very Tim Burton-y, despite the fact that Tim Burton did not direct it.
Yeah, it does. Everyone loves Jack, okay? And Jack the Skeleton. Jack the King, what's his name? What do you call him?
The Pumpkin King.
Pumpkin King. I'm about to say the Jack-o'-lantern King. The Pumpkin King. He's a guy who is egotistical. He's like, I'm the leader of this thing in Halloween Town, and he stumbles upon another tree that has the Christmas thing in it. And he's like, oh man, what is this? As the whole song comes in.
What's this? What's this? There's color everywhere.
And because he was so down, he said, there must be more. And he's like, there it is. I'm gonna steal that. What gives you the right? What gives you the right?
Yep, Jack Skellington is a truly problematic character, which is why I think that makes him a really great and compelling character. But there are things that make him problematic that I don't think the movie intended to be there, but still actually enhanced the film quite a bit. We'll get to that in a second. But you're right. Jack the Skellington is, I'm assuming he's the king of Halloween Town since he's the Pumpkin King. Everyone seems to love him, especially on Halloween. As a matter of fact, this whole town seems to do nothing but prepare for Halloween year round. And it starts off with their yearly Halloween celebration. It goes off perfectly. It's freaking awesome. Jack the Skellington, he's got like a pumpkin head. And he flips around. He's on fire. He lands into some water. He rises out. It's fucking awesome. But Jack is like, I'm tired of this. I don't like it. I do this over and over and over again. Yeah. He's literally a dead man. So who knows how many times he's done this? Thousands? Millions? Who knows? And he is bored. And unfortunately, his boredom leads to mischief, which I think is pretty cool. He wanders off into the woods looking for some sort of inspiration. Somehow he falls asleep standing up walking. Okay. and he wakes up in a clearing where he sees all these doors on trees. And he's like, what is this? And he sees one tree with another tree on it, which is of course a Christmas tree, which leads to Christmas Town. He goes down there, he discovers the magic of Christmas. And he's like, God damn, that is good, yo. I need to bring that home. I need to show everybody this, man. Yo. And he's trying his best to explain the magic of Christmas, what makes Christmas great, what makes it exciting. And yet the more words he commits to this, the stranger it sounds, the weirder it sounds.
Oh yes, does it still have a foot?
Let me see, let me look. Is it rotted and covered with guts?
Sometimes it's filled with small toys.
Small toys? Do they bite? Do they snap or explode in a sack?
Matter of fact, it sounds straight up scary. He's like, yeah, there's a king, the king of Christmas Town. He's wearing blood red and he's got Santa Claus. Yeah, he comes in and hands out gifts to children. Like, it does sound kind of creepy when he says it like that.
Yeah.
But at its essence, the movie is trying to distill and trying to find out what makes Christmas great. What is it about Christmas that seems to separate it from other holidays? He doesn't even really look that hard for it.
He doesn't.
He's just like, you know what? I'm just gonna steal this shit. I'm taking it. And not only am I gonna take this whole holiday, I'm gonna steal Santa Claus too. And you have this great and fascinating mix of holidays that you would think would clash, but in a strange way they don't, since they kind of come almost back to back. And that is, of course, Halloween and Christmas.
When it came up to like, there's a little counter on there where it counts down to Christmas and it comes down to day 2. And I'm like, okay, they're gearing up stuff. They're putting all this ugly stuff as presents. And then I'm like, y'all just forgot about Halloween. Y'all skipped over it.
Exactly. They just ignored their own thing.
Ignored your own day.
He not only wants to steal Christmas, but he wants to replace Halloween with Christmas.
in
the people of Halloween Town, exactly. The people of Halloween Town are like, this really isn't our thing, and we don't really understand it. So I guess I'm just gonna have to put my own personal ignorant twist on this thing, and that's what they do. They're putting bats in gifts and stuff like that, and all kind of horrible, messed up stuff, and dead turtles, and the whole thing.
But no matter how much that they put that stuff in there, Jack is going by and checking on them and stuff. He says, "No, put something more nice and sweet and stuff." And I'm like, the shrunken head is nice and sweet.
Well, because he's got no touchstones either for nice and sweet. For them, being scared is a good thing.
Yeah.
The movie is not really about cultural appropriation, but you can tell that is something that was there. It was, and it's like a strong subtext of the film.
I'm just turning the gears right now. What we talked about earlier. When you say that, when you say cultural appropriation, and how Jack is going through and say, "God, give me that. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that."
Right, and I'm gonna do it my way. And it's like, no.
And then we talk about how Tim Burton with black folks and the history with that and the people.
Yep. And this is the first movie that I was really aware of that conversation of, does Tim Burton not like black people? This was the first time I was aware of that. And as a kid, I dismissed it. I was like, no way. Okay. I love Tim Burton. I love Edward Scissorhands. I love Nightmare Before Christmas. There's no way he's some sort of a racist. But boy, when you look under the hood of some of his stuff, there is just like this unintentional, weird undercurrent. Again, he did not direct it, but he did have his hand in some very specific things. One character that stands out is Oogie Boogie. Oogie Boogie is the ultimate big bad. He is a big burlap sack filled with roaches, and he sings and dances and all of that, right? He's essentially like, I guess the ultimate villain in Halloween Town. It's hard. As a kid, Oogie Boogie stood out to me because he was the only character who has like a jazz song. Like his song like switches genres.
You're joking. I can't believe my eyes.
He also very notably has Ken Page, who died very recently, rest in peace, as his voice actor. And he's doing kind of like a Scatman thing going on, like 1930s. And it's like, And if you type in Oogie Boogie, turns out that last part, boogie, was a slur for black people. Now, was Tim Burton aware of this? The answer is yes. He was very much aware of it. And he was aware because his writer was like, "Hey guys, do you know what this is? Do you know who this character is?" And Tim Burton was like, "I don't care. The character's cool. I want him in here." And so the writer's like, "Okay." And then Danny Elfman was like, "Y'all, do you see this character?" And Tim Burton is like, "I don't care. I don't care. I want the character in the movie." So Tim Burton himself personally pushed really hard to get Oogie Boogie in the film. What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. Does that mean he's a racist? No. It just means he's ignorant. He's just completely ignorant and he's not taking input from other people. Now, all little white boys typing before you press enter, okay? I want you to think, is this conversation about you? It's not.
No.
Right? It's not about you. It's not your role to say Tim Burton is or is not racist. It's not your place to do that. And it's also not your place to accept any kind of apologies from anybody else. Does that mean I dislike this movie? No. Does that mean I dislike the character? No. I'm saying things are complicated. And Oogie Boogie is a complex character in a children's movie, which I find fascinating.
I want to be a little bit more specific here. What does he look like? What does Oogie Boogie look like?
He looks like an overweight Klansman. And this is why it's important to have other people in the room. Okay, it's important to have people you trust and people, and you're able to take in other people's ideas. Because if he did, he could have easily avoided this. I know Tim Burton didn't intend to have a character like that in the film. You can very clearly tell, but it's there. And he can't undo it.
It is what it is, folks. And you guys, either are, grown up enough to understand that or you're not. Okay.
That is really it. Am I attacking Tim Burton? No. Am I attacking you personally, Mr. White Boy? No. Please stop typing. Please. It is just an observation. Now, why does that observation make you uncomfortable? That's a question that only you can answer. And as a kid, I dismissed it. But as an adult, I look at his body of work and I'm like,
And then it capped off with Beetlejuice with that daggone Soul Train.
Soul Train.
The only person in this film that I think that has any sense is Sally. Okay, because Sally is under control by Dr. Finkelstein. And he's like, I made you, woman, and you're gonna do what I want, when I want, how I want it. And she's like, I ain't nobody's, slave that Frankenstein made and like that.
She's like a rag doll stuffed with leaves.
Yeah. And she just wants to be free.
She also gets a premonition with fire, and she's like, oh my God, I need to tell Jack that this is not gonna work out so great. But Jack, just like a certain director, he didn't direct this film, but just like a certain director, Tim Burton, was unable to accept any criticism. He's like, no. Everything's cool. Everything's fine. We're going about it my way, my way. Again, these kind of things, I think, personally, make the movie more interesting. But you can also tell that that's not the point of the film. No. Right? Also, forgot to point out that Sally, there's a scene where she jumps out of a window and to escape. I remember when they showed this film on TV, they always cut that scene. Oh. She would just be looking out the window and then poof, she's at the ground. And we don't ever see her jump out and break into pieces and then sort herself back up.
And I just found out that this was voiced by Catherine O'Hara, And I was like, wait, a couple years back, before this, she did Beetlejuice.
Also kind of funny that Tim Burton couldn't direct this because he was directing another Christmas movie, Batman Returns. So, that's really funny.
That is correct. He was doing Batman Returns. After Jack has the whole town basically make him be bootleg Santa Claus. Dr. Finkelstein, you have an important role. You got to make me some reindeer out of bones and stuff. Do that. All right. And all you kids do this. And speaking of the kids.
Yeah, your favorite characters, Lock, Shock, and Barrel.
They got a song on this thing called Kidnap Santa Claus is ill.
Kidnap the Santa Claus, lock him up real tight. Throw away the key and then turn off all the lights.
It's like a trap hip hop thing was that before it even was a real thing back in 1993.
That's really funny.
And Barrel, out of the three,
the little skeleton kid.
No, something about him. I would never ever let him near anything that I care about.
Yeah, because they're dirtbags and they'll do anything.
Right. And then he said, "Do not involve Oogie Boogie, your daddy or father figure, whoever he is to you. Don't involve him." But they went and involved him.
But first, they accidentally kidnapped the wrong guy. They kidnapped the Easter Bunny, and the Easter Bunny's bouncing around. And I think that shows me a potential future for this franchise, but not a sequel. And we'll get into that in a second.
Santa Claus is minding his business. Okay, checking off the list for the naughty and nice, and he was like, "Oh, there's a lot more nice kids this year." And then these little runts come up to the door with a bag and just kidnap him, and drag him to Halloween Town. Basically, Jack is now Santa Claus after taking his hat, making a beard, and he goes and delivers all these toys. These toys come alive and they terrorize the towns. And I'm like, oh my God, it's wreaking havoc. And he's like, oh wow, they love it.
Right, because to him the screams are good. He's like, oh, you're welcome, and they're like, ah, and he's like, yes, another satisfied customer. Also interesting that there's like a real world, right? We see Halloween Town, we see Christmas Town, and then we see like a regular suburban neighborhood. I'm kind of interested to see what's behind those other trees, and I'm kind of interested to see what else goes on in the real world. Is it really just our world, or like what is it? What is their relationship to holidays?
And that's what you say.
So I think that kind of stuff is interesting.
It can continue, but not a sequel.
Exactly.
Of,
I don't ever want to see Jack Skellington again. Not because he's not a great character. He is a really good character. Only because I like new things.
That's right.
So we have all of these doors and all these trees. Imagine the characters in there. So I feel like we could totally continue this series by just checking out some of the other towns. Yeah. But leave Jack and leave Santa where they are, okay?
And then when when they're shooting up stuff at him, he's like, oh, they're celebrating for me.
Yeah. It's like, they're trying to hit us.
And then they actually hit him, bring him down, and then he has like this come to Jesus moment.
But what I thought was interesting about that scene is he's been shot down out of the sky. His Santa Claus suit is black because it was on fire and stuff like that. Everything's ruined. Christmas is over. And he's like, what have I done? And I'm like, oh, okay. He's about to understand that he should not be doing no cultural appropriation. But in the movie, he literally, direct quote, he says, what the heck? I had fun. Now let's go clean this up. Like he never recognized
it. Yeah, he never acknowledged it.
that what he did was messed up. He's like, this gives me ideas for next Halloween. Santa, can you fix this? Of course you can. Goodbye. And that's it. So fast.
Yeah.
He never learns a damn thing.
No, he's considered like almost a hero to save Christmas and get back things normal in Halloween Town.
And Santa, after all of that, after being kidnapped, tortured, being shot at by Oogie Boogie, he still gives them a Christmas miracle and allows it to snow. And I thought that was great because it's like, if you really want to know, if you really want to teach people about Christmas, you can't explain it. They just have to experience it. So Santa makes it snow. And then suddenly the other characters are singing the, what's this? What's this?
What's this?
What's this?
I haven't got a clue.
What's this?
Why, it's completely new.
That's so great. I thought it was so cute. This is a really good movie. It's a classic for a reason. You know, I've heard some people say it's like a millennial classic, and yes, it is.
It is a millennial classic. There's a bunch of white girls that got the tattoo of Jack on there and Oogie Boogie. And I say white girls because that's it's true. Okay.
I mean, this is the pumpkin spice of movies. Okay, like they're hood classics and they're white girl classics. This is the white girl classic. And I'm okay with that because I enjoy this movie.
You got this, Clueless, and Mean Girls.
There you go. That's it. That's it.
That's how we felt about this film. More importantly, how do you feel about this film? Get in the comments and let us know what you thought about A Nightmare Before Christmas.
Ho, ho, ho! Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. Eureka! For the first time in high definition, only on Disney Blu-ray and on 2-disc Disney DVD.
Thank you so much for clicking on this video. We really do appreciate you guys. It is the holiday season here, and we're going to be doing more kind of in this realm of holiday stuff, but still kind of spooky. So if you want to do us a joyful thing, hit that subscribe button right down there, okay? Especially if you haven't seen our faces. And if you did like this discussion for this film, please hit the thumbs up, or you can hit that thumbs down. Whichever you do, it is your opinion, but just remember one thing, it is mostly wrong. We'll see you in another video.